YouTube, what's up? All right, guys, I'm pretty pumped up. I recently bought my F10 M5, and I wanted to share a lot of information and research that I did in that process of buying that car, including talking about kind of the main competition for Mercedes and Audi, and then also talking about uh, the way I searched for the car that I bought, basically the technology and tools that I used to find the car, and then talking a little bit more about some of the special features of the car that I bought, which is the pure metal edition. And so there's a lot of cool things about that. So I touch on all those things, and hopefully you enjoy the video. Stay tuned. Let's talk about why I went M5 instead of, say, E63 or RS7. There's a lot of similarities between those three cars. They do have different personalities, and they look different, and they're all different brands, obviously, that kind of carry different vibes. I would say vibes, prestige levels, things of that nature. But they also perform very similar. They're all doing 0 to 60. I'm just going to throw that right there in front of your face. So they all do 0 to 60 and around the same time. So on the screen here, like I've got the regular M5, I've got the M5 competition package. Let me just clear that up for you. Package, because there's a difference. Package, I've got the M5 pure metal, which is what I bought, and the M5 competition competition edition, which is different than the competition package. Wow, there we go. So and then we've got an 2016 Audi RS7 and a Mercedes-Benz E63 AMG, which is like an S or whatever. Anyway, the BMW is the only rear-wheel drive car out of the group, which is probably a little bit interesting also because the F90 that superseded the F10 to the 2016 is the last year of an F10 M5, and the F90 came after that. I believe it came out in 2018, and they did go to all-wheel drive, so they went the route of the RS7 and the E63 AMG. But for the F10, which was 2013 to 2016, they were all rear-wheel drive. And as you can see, the 0 to 60 times are pretty similar across the board, with the base M5 being the slowest of the three cars. However, as my little note says down here, Car and Driver did test the base M5 at 3.7 seconds 0 to 60, and that the competition package would be even faster than that. So BMW is known for underrating horsepower, torque, 0 to 60 times, quarter mile times, a lot of stuff. It's not unusual for them to do that. And I'm not claiming that I know for sure that they did, and I actually kind of don't really care, because I didn't buy this car because I thought it was a faster car than the other two. I think that they're all really similar. You can tune all of them. They're all twin turbo. They're all V8s. Really similar cars across the board, right? Quarter mile times are also pretty similar, with the base M5 being way slower than the other cars, according to their basic numbers they give you. But if you look at testing that people actually did, like, for some reason this competition package won at 11.9 is a whole second faster. Do your own research, but they're all fast. They're all similar. And so it really comes down to like feel and, how you feel about the interior and exterior and the vibe you get from the car. The RS7 definitely has the most horsepower, although not by that much. And then the E63 AMG definitely has the most torque, and that is kind of by quite a bit. So anyway, that's kind of just quick numbers comparison. Let's talk about pricing comparisons. And here's a quick picture of an E63 AMG. The names are getting pretty long now because it's the E63 AMG S 4MATIC. And then here is an RS7. Wow, pop-ups. Sorry about that. Here we go. Wow, this website sucks. Sorry, guys. But here's our RS7, right? And I'll just stop scrolling on this website. But now let's talk about what they're selling for. So when I checked Auto Trader, Your RS7s were starting at around 40. Starting around 40, and about 100 of them available for sale on Auto Trader. This is just one marketplace, but Auto Trader is a pretty good snapshot. E63 AMGs, not very many, only 24 available, and starting around the same kind of $40,000 ish price range. So that's quite a bit more expensive than when you look at M5. So 150 results here for M5s, quite a bit more, and there were some in the $20,000 range. So here's one at $19,995, and here's one at $21,950. So literally, you could pick up an M5 for about 20 grand. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be used with quite a bit of miles and probably a little bit beat up, but not salvage title. For 20, you could still get one with not being salvage title for that price, and that's a lot of car for the money. And that's kind of what I was assuming originally. Coronavirus stuff is going on, and there's gonna be a lot of cars sitting on lots. Dealerships want to get rid of their cars. I'm already seeing them for 20s. I'm assuming in my head that I could get like a really nice one for more like closer to the 20s. But I ended up not going that route, as we'll talk about. But in any case, like this is, yes, the M5 is easier to get and cheaper in price. Cheaper in price, is that a good thing? I don't know. I don't think they're going to depreciate a whole lot more. I mean, if you go look at, say, the previous generation, I think it's like the E60 M5. They're not usually going for under 10 grand, and those are quite a bit older. But the repair costs could be pretty high, which is probably why these cars are still or have depreciated so much. Although the repair costs on the Mercedes or the RS7 is going to be high too. So take all that with take it all in and process it. But for me, I actually really like how the M5 looks in comparison to the E63 or the RS7. I think that when the 7 Series Audi first came out, I actually thought it looked really cool and it was really badass, and I have really changed my mind on the look of it over time. It just hasn't really stuck with me very much, that feeling of how cool it looks. The Mercedes definitely, I think, is the ugliest of the three. It's very boxy looking, and their side profile view, I don't know what it is about it, but it really, to me, looks super ugly. I'm not a fan. But what Mercedes does have going for it is the sound. By far, it's the best. It's not even close. It is by far the best sounding of the three. It just has like a much better kind of naturally aspirated, deep growl V8 sound to it, that the M5 and the R7 can't really get to. But I gotta say, my M5 sounds really good. It really does. And it came with a performance exhaust, so the exhaust. Putting an exhaust on an M5 does make a big difference. Anyway, let's move on. So you might be wondering, well, Aparsh, why didn't you get an F90 BMW? It's far superior to the F10. The reason why I didn't get an F90 mainly is simple: price. Yeah, they're supposed to be far superior, but they also, like, the cheapest one I could find is this one right here at $72,000. So, yeah, they're faster. They have more power. They are all-wheel drive. They have more technology. They look better. I think that's probably safe to say. I think that they did a nice evolution of the look of the M5 with the F90. I do like the I guess it would be the side grille, the front fender grille. I like the front fender grille better on the F10, but I like the overall, like the front bumper shape and the rear bumper. The overall body shape, I think, looks better on the F90. But quick answer to that is just it was significantly more expensive. I mean, 70 versus you can pick up, as I mentioned, the F10s for 20 grand. Okay, let's talk about my crazy spreadsheet. I'm a big spreadsheets kind of guy. I like to map data out like this when I'm shopping for a car and make sure I'm basically recording a lot of data to get kind of a bigger pictures of trends and things of that nature to help me shop. And so this is my spreadsheet that I set up for M5 shopping, and I'll try as quickly as possible to go over the basics of this sheet. And I'm also going to make this available to you so that you can copy it and do something like this. So I've got the year of the car, the price that the dealership is asking, the exterior color, the interior color, the mileage on the car, the leather quality, which is basically like does it have full leather or extended leather type of thing, the title, if it, the location of the car, the marketplace it's being sold on, if there's anything special about the car, unusually special that I like a lot, or anything unusual that I don't like. So pros and cons, and then the link to the car, the transmission. Does it have competition package? Does it have executive package? Does it have heads up display, which is part of executive package? Does it have the Bauer and Olufsen sound system? Does it have rear LCD package? Does it have drive assistance package? Does it have the adaptive LED headlights? Does it have carbon ceramic brakes? And then this is where things get a little bit more fancy. The VIN, and then I have a little formula set up that will take this VIN and shoot out into this column the last 7 digits of the VIN. And then this column is fancy too, with another formula that will give you a link directly to the M decoder or whatever website that will tell you all the options on the car. So that I was using that to fill in a lot of the options. If there's an email address available, then I could put in this column their phone number, and then this was a automation mail thing. So if I had their email address, I could basically just click this. That would automatically generate an email, and it would say something like, "Hi, I'm interested in your," and then it would grab information from over here and say like your black, 2013 BMW M5 that you're asking prices, blah blah. Like it would kind of generate like a whole email that sounded a little bit personalized, but was automatically created, right? So that's the gist of the spreadsheet. But let's talk about the big trends that were on here. First thing is that almost every car had the executive package. So statistically, it was 80% of them had executive package. It actually may have been more than that. But most M5s you'll see, you can pretty much assume it's going to have executive package, which gives you the heated and cooled seats in the front. It gives you the heated seats in the back. It gives you rear climate control. It gives you the heads-up display. And there's a bunch of other little things, but it's a nice package to have. The next thing that was interesting to me was the competition package, which I thought would be pretty popular on M5s, was not very popular at all, with only 24% of the cars that I had surveyed, I guess you could call it, having the competition package. The carbon ceramic brakes were extremely rare, 4%. And then the LED headlights were really surprising to me as well. Only 19% of the cars I surveyed had the LED adaptive headlights. Now, I also stopped surveying at a certain price point, and in 2016, BMW made a change where the executive package would include those LED adaptive headlights. So if I would have surveyed more 2016s, I would have had a much higher ratio of those LED headlights, but they were all priced so high that I wasn't even surveying them, basically. Because I was sorting lowest price to highest price as I was making the sheet. I ended up finding a car I wanted before I finished really surveying every car. So I hope that makes sense and isn't too confusing to you. So here's what I was assuming I wanted to get when I first started this spreadsheet. I wanted, actually, I'll move this over here. I wanted a low price of around $25,000, less than 80,000 miles, clean title, gray interior. I love gray interior. I was hoping for some sort of blue exterior, and I wanted the Bauer and Olufsen sound system. I definitely wanted the executive package, which was going to be easy. I really wanted the adaptive LED headlights, which wasn't going to be easy. And after much waffling, I decided I thought that DCT was the right transmission for me, mainly because I already have 2 other cars that are manual transmission. So, and this is more of like a family car, so my wife could drive it too. She doesn't know how to drive stick. Anyway, so the next things are more of like nice to have but not as important. Competition package, carbon ceramic brakes, driver's assistance package, and then I mentioned I was on the fence about the 6-speed manual. One side of me was like, if I see a really good price on a 6-speed manual, I might just go for it as like a investment, like thinking I could resell it for more later. And then what I really didn't care about was the rear seat entertainment package. I don't know why it says professional, but whatever. So I ended up going with quite a bit different car because I went with the pure metal, which was a whole lot different. So was it priced around $25K? No, I paid $42. Did it have less than 80,000 miles? Yeah, it only had 50,000 miles. So that's really good. Did it have clean title? Yep. Did it have gray interior? Nope. Black interior is the only option. Does it have blue exterior? No. It has the coolest paint job I've ever seen in my entire life. It's this special aluminum silver color that I'll talk about later. But does it have the Bauer and Olufsen sound system? Surprisingly, no. This is the most expensive version of the F10 M5 that they produced, but it didn't have. It only had the Harman Kardon, so it a slightly upgraded sound system from the factory basic one, but it's not the B&O. Anyway, it has the executive package. Yes, it has the adaptive LED headlights. Double clutch was the only option on that car. It has the competition package. It does have the carbon ceramic brakes. It does have the driver's assistance package. So it has pretty much everything you could think of other than the rear seat entertainment and the Bauer and Olufsen sound system. So pretty much ridiculously loaded. They were originally $132,000 when they were new. So I bought it 4 years later for $42K, limited to only 50 cars. And from what I saw another one with much higher mileage that sold for about $10,000 more while I was looking. And so I knew this was just, I got to go for it. Too many reasons why I didn't, that it would have been, there was too many reasons for me to buy it and not enough reasons for me to hold off on this one or to try to negotiate it down. It really was a really good deal, and I freaking love this car now that I've been driving it. It's so awesome. So I'm gonna have my next video will be like more driving impressions, looking at the car in person. But let's move on to the next section of this video. All right, just before I end this video, this last little bit is going to be a little bit of extra information about the pure metal F10. I'm going to go into more, I'm going to kind of be going over this again, probably in person with the car on my next video, but this is like little tiny details. So I want to specifically talk about the paint because that could be quite possibly the best part of the entire car. And maybe the best paint job I've ever seen in my entire life. So it's called pure metal. It's a silver paint. It doesn't look you can't tell how cool it is on this picture right here on my screen. But so it's a unique paint layering process, and they use hundreds of thousands of ultra thin aluminum flakes with special effect pigment and a water-based paint system. This paint option is usually $10,000 in addition to a regular BMW car price. They actually take the car out of the regular line where all the other BMWs are being painted, and it's like specially done by hand, kind of more. Maybe I shouldn't say by hand, but it's checked by hand. So the machines probably still do the paint, but it's checked by hand by like a variety of like professional people at the shop to make sure it's like perfect. And it's just so crazy cool. It's really hard to explain how cool it is without seeing it. The interior, you get the full leather. So that's like the dash. Everything's basically covered in leather. But you also get a stitching, a silver stitching, contrast stitching, I guess it's called, which is exclusive basically to this package. You get more power, so you get 591 horsepower and 516 foot-pounds of torque, which is more than just the basic. The competition package on the F10 M5 gives you a little bit more power, actually just horsepower. The pure metal gets a little bit more power than that, and it gets a little bit more torque, so both horsepower and torque. And then the M drivers, like the MDM mode, the M mode, then the car is like specially tuned to that extra power and everything that's on it. And then you get a really awesome performance exhaust. I'll show you. It's wrapped in real carbon fiber. It sounds really good. So I'll have to show you that in the next video. It's pretty sweet. But and then there's like some aluminum trim that's like inside the car. I think the aluminum trim is kind of corny. I really wish it would have been carbon fiber, but they thought that the aluminum trim would kind of go cool with like the pure metal vibe, I guess. But yeah, carbon fiber would have been way sweeter. So that's about it. Let's wrap up the video here with that. You guys may have some questions about this car or some of the other cars we talked about. Feel free to ask. And if you have questions about the spreadsheet that you want to use it yourself and how to use it or something like that, feel free to reach out. But again, next video is going to be the car in person and in driving the car with you guys. And I did already get some downpipes for the car. Haven't installed them yet. They just came in yesterday. So that will be another video, probably installing them and listening to it. I've got an intake coming for my Raptor that's going to be installed, and some stuff with my Evo actually coming up really soon too, with some tuning and extra parts. So if any of that sounds familiar or not familiar, but interesting to you, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Anyway, hope you guys are having a good day, staying safe, and I'll talk to you soon.